Dozens of speakers criticized Moms for Liberty co-founder and Sarasota, Florida school board member Bridget Ziegler. Now, it turns out that Ziegler's personal sex life doesn't really mesh well with the conservative group's Christian values. And so let's get into the allegations here and then talk about what this means for what seemed to be a growing conservative movement, especially in regard to school boards across the country. Now, Ziegler recently told police that she and her husband, who is now under criminal investigation for sexual assault, had a consensual sexual encounter with another woman. The same woman who is now putting out allegations against her husband, Christian Ziegler. On November 30th, the nonprofit Florida Center for Government Accountability published a Sarasota police search warrant detailing allegations that Christian Ziegler had raped a woman with whom he and his wife had previously had a three-way sexual encounter. According to the affidavit, Ziegler told detectives that his separate encounter with the woman in early October was consensual and that he had recorded it. Now, here are some more allegations or more details about the alleged rape. Let's watch.
The Zieglers were in a sexual relationship with the woman, in this case, the alleged victim. They, I think, last met, from what we know, with this woman for sex over a year ago. On October 2nd, according to this affidavit, they had made plans to go to this woman's apartment for another sexual encounter. Bridget Ziegler, for one reason or another, we don't know, couldn't make it. That's when the alleged victim in this case said that, why don't we just cancel? I was mostly in it for Bridget Ziegler. According to the affidavit, Christian Ziegler then shows up at this woman's apartment where he proceeds to rape her.
So those are the allegations. Now, over the weekend, the GOP in Florida decided to make some moves, okay? Because they're like, okay, this guy, Christian Ziegler, is literally the head of the Republican Party in the state of Florida. We can't have it. There are like credible rape allegations against him. So they were pressuring him to resign. He refused to resign. So over the weekend, they had an emergency meeting and they voted to suspend him. So he's currently suspended. When it comes to Bridget Ziegler, though, his wife, there are calls for her to resign from the Sarasota, Florida school board. She seems to be refusing to do so, and we'll see how that all plays out. But before I give you more details on this story, I know Cenk is chomping at the bit to comment on what's going on here, so go ahead.
No, of course I love the hypocrisy. Moms for Liberty supported the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, very famously so. And they said, look, if we have the kids hear about LGBTQ issues at all, well, obviously that would be very damaging to children to know that gay people exist. Well, wait till they find out that the mom in Moms for Liberty is also in the LGBTQ community. Look, I don't know to what degree her and the other woman made love passionately and in different positions. But apparently the woman was interested in mainly her and not the husband, as we tell from that story. So, but I tell you that because the next time somebody comes around moralizing and judging you and judging how you live, remember they're probably in a menage a trois, having the kinkiest sex you've ever seen, and they're all full of crap, and they all can't wait to go home and pleasure each other in exactly the ways that they say are so evil and immoral and corrupting the kids. So get out of here. And the board voted 4-1 against her. She said no. I'm still hanging strong here, if you will. I don't know if the Christian Ziegler did what he's alleged to have done. Would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't. And the only part of the story that I'm surprised by is that the Florida Republicans abandoned him. Because usually they stick with the guys who commit terrible crimes. And so it's a little surprising that they haven't in this case. And remember, all of this was based on the theory that gay people are dangerous. Oops.
Yeah, I don't care about anyone's personal sex life at all, as long as all parties are engaged in whatever they're doing and it's like they're consenting to what they're doing. I'm totally fine with it. The hypocrisy is what stands out here. And Let me give you a little taste of what other conservatives are saying specifically about Bridget Ziegler, because some actions have already been taken against Christian Ziegler here. So one person says, most of our community could not care less what you do in the privacy of your own home, but your hypocrisy takes center stage, said Sally Sells, a Sarasota resident and the mother of a 5th grader. And that's what she said during a tense school board meeting. Ziegler, whose husband has denied wrongdoing, said little and did not resign. Again, he has since been suspended as the head of the GOP in the state of Florida. Political analyst Suzanne McManus says that the Florida GOP has taken a reputational hit. The bottom line is that it's very difficult for you to make an argument, or the argument, that you're all about traditional family values when there's that sort of sexual accusation. And while it's true that you're innocent until proven guilty, the admission of participation in a threesome was all a lot of people needed to hear. Okay, so the other thing I'm gonna say is, if you want to be a public figure while moralizing and judging people, you're not allowed to have this kind of sex life. It's the truth. Okay, like I don't know what actually happened between these three. I don't know if the allegations against Christian Ziegler are true, but putting all of that aside, let's say everything was consensual. They just like to get freaky in bed. What? I don't care. But if your whole brand is conservative family values, you can't invite a third person into your bedroom and assume that it's not eventually gonna get out. It's gonna eventually get out, 1000%. It is amazing to me how cavalier some of these people are.
Yeah, because it's a sense of an entitlement that the right wing has. And they think, no, I can do anything I want and I can blame other people for it. And I don't care because the rules don't apply to me. And they genuinely believe it. And so we've done a version of this story thousands of times. It's the woman who gets an abortion, a right winger who gets an abortion, then goes back out into the protest line and calls other women sluts. And then when they ask her about it, she's like, yeah, but mine was just an accident. I'm not a slut like them.
Oh my God.
Okay, last thing, guys. So about threesomes. Number one, the Republican lady that Anna quoted, she's like, you know, the problem with having it is saying that you're for traditional family values and then having these threesomes. No, the problem isn't the threesomes. The problem is you moralizing everyone else's life with your BS traditional family values that none of you actually live. That's the actual core problem. And if you notice, to me, the most devastating part of the story, she's like, well, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty, so I'm not worried about the alleged rape. But they did admit the threesome, so they gotta go. Oh, okay, so the threesome is worse than the alleged rape. I mean, if the modern Republican Party, if anything tells you anything about their mindset, it's probably that right there.